Talk to Me Tuesday. It's your girl Anja, and today I'm talking to somebody who has really been on his grind. He's been hustling, he's been training day in and day out to make his dreams into a reality. And brick by brick, he is definitely getting to where he's trying to go. So please help me welcome one of the best boxers that I know, my guy, Daryl. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. That was a beautiful introduction.
Yes, of course. Okay, Daryl. So tell me, how you doing today? And how you fell in love with boxing. So, how's your day going? And how's boxing?
So today's pretty good. I'm actually not working today, so I'm gonna be in the gym pretty heavy today. As far as the love for boxing goes, it's something that I feel like kind of found me. I've been playing sports my whole life. So after college, I just kind of stumbled into a boxing gym, and then it's just kind of how can I say a relationship from there. You know, it kind of felt right at home. I was practicing every day and still working towards something. And it kind of really just stuck with me, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you know any other boxers before you started your journey?
So it's crazy. No, I wasn't really into it. As a former wrestler, I used to watch a lot of mixed martial arts. But then, of course, signing up for boxing and kind of taking it serious, I learned to respect the art and the craft of it. It's a skill set, and it's
So,
not,
what
it's
goes
not, it's
into
not
your
learned overnight.
training?
Um,
What does
Really
that look like
repetition.
for people who have no idea what do what do you have to do?
So usually I start out with like a 3 or 4 mile run, and then I'll jump a rope for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. I'll box in the mirror for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'll hit a bag for another 30 to 45 minutes. I'll do my core workout. I'll do a little light leg workout, sometimes air squats, and then I work on my upper body push ups. And that's usually just like a simple light day. Sometimes different coaches like to work on different things throughout the week, but usually the basis of is running, jumping rope, shadow boxing, and hitting a bag.
Okay, so what are you thinking about when you're shadow boxing or actually boxing someone? What is mentally going on in your brain? Are you truly aggressive, or are you thinking about rainbows and butterflies? What's happening?
So if I'm gonna be completely and 100% totally honest, some
Love that.
days I am thinking about, quote unquote rainbows and butterflies, or my mind just kind of wanders throughout the exercise, day to day. But when I'm really focused, I like to imagine that there's another fighter that I'm actually attacking and setting shots up. It's kind of like choreography, you
Mhm.
know. It's repetition, repeated movements, and it's kind of like like a routine. You have certain moves that you like to practice, and once you apply them, then they become second nature.
So how do you feel that from my understanding, right? Boxing is kind of like just you versus you, really. So how is
Right.
it different from, I guess what I'm trying to say is so football, right? It's a team sport, it's camaraderie. If it's just you, then what is that like?
Um,
Is that
I
better
kind of
or
like
worse
it.
for you?
I kind of like it. I'm responsible for my, I guess, life and death in the sport. Football, you can kind of be penalized as a team if somebody else makes a mistake. So I like the 100% accountability that boxing has in it. So I'm gonna feel everything that I ate prior to that fight or before that fight, and I'm gonna feel the lack of conditioning I did before that fight. It's a lot of preparation that goes into fights, and you really want to kind of police yourself because at the end of the day, no one's going to step in the ring with you. It's pretty much you versus another person, as you said before.
So, what kind of challenges have you faced on your pursuit to going to be a pro boxer? What challenges, what do you find difficult, whether it's with training or dealing with managers and agents?
Really kind of in the beginning stages of boxing, so the politics haven't really affected me too much yet. I mean, I see people make bad business decisions often, which is why I kind of shied away from jumping into that realm so suddenly because I did get into the sport late. I started boxing at 22, and a lot of people are born into gyms. Like a mentor of mine, his name is Damon Nicholson. He started boxing at the age of 6. other people that are on his caliber, like the people you see on TV, Javante Davis. A lot of them have been boxing since they were in elementary school. So you really kind of pick up those skills and those instances in your teenage years, as opposed to I was learning how to, I guess, quote unquote, walk or crawl as an adult. Now, granted, I still picked up a lot of things fairly quickly because I was already an athlete. But again, it's just those timing and those repetitions and the skill set that just takes years and years to develop. Just like how they say, it takes 40,000 hours to master a skill. Well, I started my 40,000 hours at 22, or some people start at 8.
Okay. So when people heard that you want to be like a professional boxer, I'm sure people are like, yeah, okay. So how do you deal with that if that is a factor in your story?
It's definitely a factor in my story. I feel like my main critiques are my parents because they always say, especially they come from an era where fighters are looked at as having a certain kind of character type. They're like, oh, you didn't grow up rough, or oh, that's for stupid people, or people have a generalization of fighters, and I feel like that's not necessarily true. There's a lot more people that fight that aren't necessarily in the limelight that still reap the benefits and the success from being a martial artist. And of course, there's a lot that comes with it. You're getting hit in the head, but honestly, I just feel like it comes with playing any contact sport. Like I was playing football at a young age, so I ran the risk of having those concussions as a child. And just mainly anybody that's chasing a dream, goes through those same kind of criticisms from loved ones, especially like, hey, you know, you're already an adult. Maybe you should stop putting so much time into this and put time into a career when I'm just kind of, happy with what I do.
So what is the one thing that you love most about boxing?
Mm.
If you had to pick one thing.
Um, I like the drive it gives me. I like the fact that it helped me grow as a person. And I know that's kind of figurative, not literal, but I just really enjoy the growth I've seen in myself that came with pursuing a boxing career, because there's a lot of things about me that I had to change in order to really take this serious.
How do you find the right coaches?
Um, to be honest, there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, of course, you know, you want to deal with somebody that cares for your well being, because a lot of people in boxing, unfortunately, don't really care about their fighters. They see a dollar amount. So they kind of not necessarily set you up to fail, but they don't really handle the situation gingerly. So a lot of parents like to get involved in their kids' boxing careers, and that's hit or miss in some instances too. So because you never really have that care for someone as you would with a child, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was well, my coach kind of is from the same city as I am. We're all from Laurel, so that played a part in it. It was a little divine, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then honestly, I seen where his son is having his success. So if somebody in the same vicinity as you kind of lays the groundwork for success, then all you have to do is follow suit. And I just found that as kind of like a motivating factor for me. So it kind of clicked from there.
So I believe that you kind of bring everything that you've gone through in life with you, better or for worse. And you have played sports at a young age, like multiple sports. So how do those sports, like what sports did you play? And how did those sports help you on this journey that you're on today?
Man, what sports didn't I play? My first sport I ever played was basketball. Then I jumped into football. These are all still elementary school. Middle school, I picked up track and field. That was the first Olympic sport that I actually started. And I consider Olympic sports to be lifestyle sports. Um, and then later in my teenage years, I was about 16. I became a wrestler for my high school, and that's probably the sport that helped me the most with boxing, because it's an individual sport, it's 1-on-1, and you have to cut weight in wrestling like you do in boxing. and it's a physically and mentally demanding sport as well. So not that they all are, but wrestling is just uh, a high level of physical and mental strain on a human that don't necessarily come with other sports. Because for one thing, a part of boxing and wrestling is to maim or kind of break the spirit of the person you're competing against, and it kind of goes hand in hand. Wrestling is also a martial art, so it kind of really, how can I say, it was an easy transition for me to become a boxer from being a former wrestler.
All right, so we're talking about mental really quick, and I just want to throw that back at you. So, my question for you, right, is like
Mhm.
how on the darkest days and everybody telling you to get a real job, like this is dumb, like how do you for yourself internally bring it back around and be like, nah, I can do this? Like, how do you talk yourself out of a
Well,
dark
I
hole?
I kind of always wanted to be a professional athlete. Like that's been on my mind since I was a kid. It's kind of embedded in me, and I just kind of stay focused on the route I'm trying to get to, or I guess the goal I'm trying to achieve. So whenever, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty stubborn human. Like it takes a lot for me to walk away from certain things. I don't like to quit. So I don't want this to just be something that I started and didn't finish. I don't want that to be my narrative in life. So that's kind of what I'll focus on. Kind of how, going back to what you said, that you bring everything you've been through in life to your current situation. Like I feel like I could have done better with a lot of things that I've done in my past, and I feel like the universe or God has given me another chance to actually, achieve that goal or be that success story that I've wanted to be since I was my first memories being alive.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just had a fight not that long ago. Tell me about it. What was that like? How did you feel during, beginning, middle, and end? Let's talk, let's go back to that day. So you have a fight and let's get into it. What happens?
So the day before is probably my most nerve wracking day. The day of course, I'm nervous. I still get jittery because I've only been in 8 amateur fights, and so it's still kind of fresh. It's not like how can I say, instinct yet. So I still get really, really nervous, almost to the point where I get chills. I don't really sleep the night before since I'm cutting weight. I'm not eating, so there's quite a bit of mental strain. But again, it's a lot that comes with it. I used to feel like this before wrestling matches too. So it's kind of like a feeling that you kind of get used to after a while, but it's still kind of new. As far as during goes, I think that's the part that I enjoy the most, is the clarity that you get while competing. It's
Hmm.
just kind of everything you've been practicing, your mind goes blank, but it's still kind of, the neurons are still firing off. Okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to duck here and throw this punch there. And just the feeling of freedom that you get, when you're competing. There's nothing like being in front of people and doing what you like to do, and then at the end of it, getting your hand raised and being a winner. That's the feeling I think everybody gets addicted to. The allure, I guess, per se, of sports or entertainment.
So my question for anybody who is not boxing, but they love watching it on TV or live,
Mhm.
my question is, does time slow down for you guys? Because it's moving so fast for me watching it. Is it moving quick for you in the ring as well?
So for me, it really depends on what's happening. If I get hurt, then it kind of slows down. And this is how you know time literally exists inside your mind. Because if I'm doing good or if I'm trying to get something done, it'll seem like it picks up a bit. But if I'm hurt and things aren't going my way, and like the same thing in life, it kind of drags on, like that 30 seconds can feel like 5 minutes, as opposed to where if I'm trying to accomplish something in a short amount of time, then 2 minutes can feel like 20 seconds. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah,
kind of like a real mental thing. Like it's crazy, actually, to be honest.
that's very interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't thought about that. That's a good question. That's a good question. How does time feel like in there? Yeah, yeah, it can go both ways for sure.
So, do you feel the cuts on your face? Do you feel like the blood and the bruises? Or do you feel that after everything is said and done and they're like, you won? When do you feel
It's
that?
it's after for sure. Like I've won fights, and then I feel like nothing happened, and then I look in the mirror and I have a black eye, and then the next day I feel like I've been in a car accident. But during the fight, like I'm like, oh my god, like, I feel great, I feel amazing, and that's how you know adrenaline is a beautiful thing. Like yeah, for sure. And then like I've had some fights where they didn't necessarily go my way, and I still felt fine. I haven't really necessarily, knock on wood, thank the Lord. I haven't been maimed too bad in any fights yet, you
Okay.
know. So, so yeah, I'd say definitely after, and even in like sparring sessions, because even when I'm getting ready for the fight, like I'll have a sparring session where somebody might make my nose bleed, and then I won't even notice my nose is bleeding until after I go to blow it afterwards, and I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of blood coming out of my nose, you know. It's very yeah, and that's the part I enjoy about the sport too, is because I didn't know I could withstand certain things like that and still be fine, you know.
Absolutely. So, I love a good Mike Tyson. I love Muhammad Ali. Who is your boxing person? Who are we loving on?
Huh. That's a good question too, because there's so many to choose from. So I like people that are the local favorites. I like Sugar Ray Leonard. I like Winky Wright. Winky Wright's from DC. Um, I've been watching a lot of Tank fights. He's from Baltimore. He's the face of boxing right now. As far as and then even different eras have different like so from the '90s I like watching Roy Jones Jr. From the '80s I like Tommy Hearns, Alberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler. From the '70s, of course, you got George Foreman and Joe Frazier, and then the '60s you got a couple people too. It's just like whatever time you want to visit, I feel like that's the boxer I like to watch for
Okay,
sure.
I just have to point something out. Did
Mm-hmm.
you spend your free time like studying this? Like, how are we knowing dates? How do we know timelines? So, is it also important for you to like read and document and know what's happened before, present, and what's current? Is that what we're getting at?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's played a big part into just different things that I see. I like to kind of mimic in my game a little bit, knowing what this person did and how they handled things outside of the ring and how it affected them inside the ring. You know, different people. Because again, boxing is one of those sports where you've got all these kinds of personalities, and they say you fight like the kind of person you are.
Oh,
So yeah, I've really
great. Let's
had
get
to.
into that. What does that mean? So, yeah, what does that mean exactly?
So it's kind of like it literally you can see it like a person who's passive in life or like a person who's kind of reserved. Usually that's how they fight. Like they'll usually fight defensive or they'll fight like in order to wait for their person that they're fighting to mess up first and then they'll strike. Kind of like how Mayweather does. You know, he's a smart, calculated guy. So in the ring, he's smart and calculated. You know what I mean? As opposed to you've got your Mike Tyson where he's a little bit erratic of a person. He's unpredictable. He's explosive in nature. So that's kind of plays a part in how he fights. He takes a lot of risk. He throws big punches. He looks for those big knockouts, and it's like that across the board. I can give you countless examples, and even myself. Like I'm a risk taker. I'm assertive, and I like to be that way in the ring. I like to really kind of make my presence felt on my opponent before the fight even gets going. Yeah,
That's so interesting.
yeah. It's a cool thing. It's a cool thing to watch and be a part of for sure.
Okay, so my question is there a little bit of, let's say, you're watching the fight live or on television and like the
Hmm.
big name boxers, they always have some like rapper, some money being thrown around, like some music, like
Right.
like not
Glitz and
costumes, but
glamour.
like the outfits.
Nah,
Like, is
you're right.
that
You're right.
like like what is all of that? Like, what is
So
that?
so it's so a lot of people too is again those people's personalities and who they are. It's all expression. Like the artist that walks you out might be a person you've been listening to for weeks prepping for the fight. Some people, a lot of the Hispanics wear sombreros, and like the guy that fought Devontae Davis, he wore Aztec warrior outfit. You know, some people wear masks. You know what I mean? I know Bernard Hopkins used to come out in a ski mask. So it's just all expression and a part of the sport. You know, because again, it's show business. So you want to kind of get people to look at and something to talk about, you know, and then a lot of people gain fans and attraction off what they wear and who they come out with.
Okay, so just indulge me really quick. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
that you have gotten to where you're going MGM Las Vegas. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you're boxing. What is it like? What are you wearing? What colors? Look, come on. What song? Like,
And
let's get into it. I want to
the
know. Like,
the
paint the
perfect
picture
world.
for me.
So I went to high school with a group of people and they make music. So I'd like to have them present for sure. I'm a very seasonal person when it comes to music. So as far as picking an artist that comes out with me during that time, it's gonna have to be whatever's going on in life or whatever kind of draws me to inspiration the most. But I'd like it to be positive for sure. I wouldn't want anything to be negative associated with me, even if it's entertainment. Like because I know the music has a lot of mind control
Okay.
throughout everyone that listens for sure. And as far as color goes, probably black and gold. Probably black
Ooh,
and
I
gold.
love a
I
good
feel like
black and gold.
yeah, yeah. Gold is one of my favorite colors. I enjoy the color black as well. My parents are from Pittsburgh, so I'm a Steelers fan.
Ugh,
I know, I know, I know,
we
I
won't
know.
get into that. But
I get a lot of noise for that for sure, especially from the locals. But yeah, yeah, yeah. But then again,
are you
that could
throwing
change
money?
too.
Are we throwing
Nah, I'm
money?
not throwing money. I'm not too flashy of a person. So glitz and glamour is not really my thing. You know, I like simplicity.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Okay, so who is your support system? Like, who are you calling when things aren't going right? Who do you call when things go amazing? Like, tell me, who's your support system?
Honestly, it depends. I still keep in contact with a lot of people I went to school with, a lot of people I went to high school with. I have a lot of mentors. I have cousins that are older than me. I really talk to the people that really kind of have been with me along this journey. Again, I get quite a bit of backlash from my family, so that anytime something negative comes up with this, I really don't go to them to reach out. I like to go out to my friend Damon too. He's been boxing, like I said, since he was a kid. He's been on TV. He's fought for the titles, so he's kind of seen a lot of ups and downs with this sport too. So he's pretty much one that I like to go to for support. Really, when I have any questions when it comes to boxing, he's kind of been there to kind of hold my hand and guide me through this. Because again, he's somebody that's he's been through it. He's made this wrong turn. He's made this right turn. So anytime you have somebody that's been pretty much at the top or where you want to go, it kind of makes it easy. And that's another thing that I'm thankful for too is having someone like him in my corner because he is somebody that can kind of mentor me and walk me through this day to day.
So, following your dreams take a lot of sacrifices. What kind of things have you had to sacrifice along this way?
Um, well, to start, food. I have to maintain a certain weight, and I'm a person that I love to eat. I can eat when I'm bored. I can eat after I work out. I can eat when I don't need to eat. You know what I mean? So that's one of the biggest sacrifices, and then social life too. Boxing's a lot of time demanding, and then I can't be in certain scenes that a lot of my friends are in, like even the bars, the club, because alcohol doesn't really it's not conducive for you to be physically active. Or not, I'm not gonna say physically active, but I'm gonna say peak performance and
Right.
still, you know, put certain things in your bodies. So a lot of times too, I have to kind of shy away from doing certain things, or I've got to kind of purge myself from certain things. You know, those holidays that are coming around, everybody likes to eat during Thanksgiving. Everyone likes to eat cookouts during 4th of July. You know, I have to duck those days once a year. I got to really watch my calories. You know, I haven't eaten red meat in years. Just a lot of little minute things that I've kind of had to change with myself that I don't really think are big deals, but to the average person is like, whoa, you don't do what? You know what I mean?
Right. Did you have to either shift your friend circle or were they like understanding that you couldn't go out all the time? What does that look like? Because I know pursuing your dreams, sometimes your friends get a little shaky.
Right, right. No, thankfully, the distance between me and some people I talk to, because it's not the first time I've been distant either. Like I went to school in California, in Colorado, so I've come across a lot of people of all walks of life, and then the people who enjoy you as a spirit are really with you for the long run. So I feel like that's just an easy conversation to have. Like, hey, this is the route I'm taking. I can't really do this anymore. And it's like respect. You know, maybe you can teach me one day. You know, I've gotten a lot of those like, hey, maybe you should show me how to do that, or I'm trying to get where you are and I just got to do this with you. You know what I mean? So it's kind of been like a good influence, I should say.
So, would you say like you're obsessed with making this dream coming to true?
You know what? I wish I could say that. Um, there's been ups and downs. I've gotten away from it for sure. Like even certain trials and tribulations that I've had to deal with, or I've had to kind of step away from, you know, pursuing my dreams and kind of work on self before I can really, you know, take the dream even serious. You know, I think the pandemic kind of put everyone on pause with things, and that slowed me up quite a bit. And then I do get a little burnt out and inconsistent sometimes. So sometimes I do want to enjoy my social life or visit some of those people I haven't been. Sometimes I do slack on my diet, and I feel like those things kind of brought me to where I am now. You know, it's taught me a lot of patience, and it really is showing me that hey, maybe I'm gonna have to really eat, sleep, drink, and breathe this. It's gonna have to be all of my thoughts in order for me to really get to where I actually want to go. Or I'm just gonna get old and be like, hey, I wish, you know?
Right. Do you ever have like a reflex where you have to like pull it back? Are you so disciplined that that doesn't happen?
Nah, it's definitely like it's so the thing about practicing the martial art is you gotta kind of have to know that hey, there's a lot of people on the planet, and then you really know what comes with people. You know, everyone's kind of self centered in a sense.
Hmm.
So again, as a martial artist, they kind of let you know out the gate, like, hey, you know, there's right and there's wrong. You know, you watch the superhero movies, what Peter Parker's uncle say, you know, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
So it's a fine line, kind of practicing a skill to where you have to hurt someone, and then kind of keeping that same kind of discipline to not use it just because you know you have a certain power or you feel like an elitist and you have to use it to affect others. And for me, it's kind of like I've always been a lover first, not a fighter. So it's not necessarily like I don't kind of go out looking to hurt anyone. And even when people are trying to like hurt me or people I'm with, I'm like the diffuser. Like I'm like, wait, there's another way to do this. I'm Italy, you know, not Russia or United States.
Does anybody try to like provoke you since you do fight? Does any like, masculinity like, oh, like I can fight him, like no problem. He boxes now, but I can totally, try him.
Of course. It's mostly family and you know people that have known me as a child. Uh, you know, they like to poke and prod at the bear. You know, and of course I have to kind of you know play back a little more physically than I would have in the past, just because I know you know what's going on. Um, strangers not so much. Uh, usually when it comes to situations like that, like I said, it's always someone I'm with, and I get roped into a situation. It's never me. I like to apologize first to the average bystander, before anything gets, because you never know what somebody's going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then people don't fight fair. People carry knives, people carry mace, people carry pepper spray, people carry guns. You know what I mean? So you don't want to be the guy that's, oh, there was this fighter, he was doing all this talking, and then I stabbed him, or oh, we jumped him. You know what I mean? No one wants to be that guy. I don't want to be that example for anybody. you know.
Okay, so thank you so much for like all of your knowledge, all of the insight look into what you do. Do you have any last words of wisdom for anybody who's watching this and they're like, I want to get started on my dreams. Like, I'm behind. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I be a boxer? Anything you want to say to anybody watching? You know,
I think you should do it. Do it and be consistent with it, and do it like you love it, because at the end of the day, we live in a microwave society. People are, one clip away from being at a chance to really expose the masses or really pursue what they want to do. Or you never know who might see you and who might put that time and effort and energy into you. And I feel like everyone has that chance today. So I definitely feel like you should, yeah, go for it and be consistent at it. Put your 40,000 hours in, master your skill. And I feel like anybody can do anything. It's just repetition. You know what I mean? That's all it was for me.
I love that so much. Yes.
Thank you.
Do you want them to follow you anywhere, like social media or anything like that? Are you good on it?
So I live a very private life. My social media is all over the place. I haven't quite established I wanted to come up with a fitness page. You can add me on Facebook. I'm an old man. My first and last name is Darrly Bagley, DarrlyBagley, and you can watch a couple of my fights, watch me roll around, do different things, and keep up with me.
Great. You guys know I'm already going to put it right here in the bio so you can access him. All right. So you can find me at it's your girl underscore Anja. Once again, it's your girl underscore ANJA. And you've been watching Talk to Me Tuesday. So make sure to check him out. I'm going to drop some videos throughout this. So you should probably stick around for that. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on and giving us some words of wisdom. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Until next time, everybody, like, subscribe, follow, follow, follow. All right, bye, everyone.